He didn't wait until dinner to humiliate me. No, my father did it before the turkey even hit the table. One hand gripping his beer, the other holding his phone, he filmed me setting out the plates and silverware, like I had done every Thanksgiving since I was old enough to reach the table. 14 seconds later, the video was online. The caption read, "Look at this failure. She was always a servant." The room burst into laughter. My siblings chuckled. My mother pretended not to hear. I just stood there, napkin in hand, my face burning while their laughter filled the house like smoke I couldn't escape. I didn't say a word. I picked up my purse, walked out the front door, and didn't look back to BY Morning. Their phones were buzzing for a different reason. The servant they mocked had finally stopped serving. Before I tell you the rest, tell me where you're watching from so I know I'm not the only one who's had to walk away from family just to find peace. Thanksgiving had always looked the same in our house. The same chip dishes, the same football hum from the living room, the same unspoken rule. I worked, they watched. Every year I told myself it was fine, that keeping the peace was better than starting a fight. But the second my dad hit post, something inside me cracked and he laughed. "Relax, Lila, it's a joke." My sister Bree didn't even look up from her phone. God, get a sense of humor. My brother Mason muttered something about me being dramatic. And my mom Claire, she just stared at the oven like the turkey needed her full attention. Pretending was her favorite sport. I'd been the family's fixer my whole life. The one who worked extra shifts, who lent money, who kept secrets and smiled through tension. When bills piled up, I paid them. When Bree overdraft, I covered it. When Dad wanted a new grill, I ordered it on my card. Responsibility had turned into servitude, and nobody even noticed. That night, sitting in my Aunt Nora's kitchen, I watched the video again. 14 seconds. No music. No context. Just me folding napkins, while the caption glowed beneath it like a scar. "Look at this failure. She was always a servant." The comments were worse, laughing emojis, heart reacts from people I didn't even know. Mason had commented, "At least she's good at something." Bree replied with, "Classic Lila. Never stops working." Even a cousin joined in. "I'd spent my life being useful. But usefulness doesn't equal respect." Nora didn't say much when she found me watching. She just handed me a blanket and whispered, "You don't owe them another second." For the first time, I believe someone meant it that I didn't sleep. I just sat by the window watching the streetlights flicker over the driveway. My phone buzzed again and again. Texts from Mason, from Claire, from my father, but none of them said sorry. Not one asked if I was okay. BY Morning, something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger. Anger is loud. This was quieter, like the air right after a storm. When you realize the world has changed, I slid my phone across the counter and whispered, "They can laugh all they want. I'm done being their servant." When the sun rose, I walked outside barefoot, the air sharp and cold. Nora's porch smelled like rain and coffee. She didn't ask questions. That silence, it made breathing easier. At 8 a.m., Bree's name lit up my screen. "Bree, why can't I withdraw $2,000 from your account?" No greeting. No apology. Just entitlement, casual and ugly. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Then I laughed. A hollow, humorless sound that didn't even feel like mine. I'd already transferred every dollar to a private account hours before. After years of paying, forgiving, fixing, I finally got it. They didn't love me. They loved what I did for them. Another text. "Bree, you're unbelievable. Bitter much?" I didn't reply. I just scrolled through our history, concert tickets, emergencies, dinners she promised to split but never did. Every message was a receipt for my silence. When Nora walked in tying her robe, she said softly, "You're up early." I think I just woke up from a really long dream. She nodded like she understood exactly what I meant. To BY Noon, my father's message arrived. "Victor, you've always been dramatic. Grow up." It didn't hurt. It just confirmed what I already knew. That evening I went through my finances. $21,000 saved. Every cent was a piece of myself they never valued. That night I wrote everything down, screenshots, notes, dates, not out of revenge but to prove it all happened. Before bed I whispered, "I'm not your servant anymore." It wasn't a declaration. It was a fact. Days passed. Silence from their house grew heavier than any insult. Then another text from Bree. "Bree, I need the money now. Don't be spiteful." I typed, "The account's closed." Don't ask again, her reply came fast. Words like selfish, manipulative, bitter. Then finally, you've changed, she was right. That day I started erasing every door they had to reach me, freezing cards, changing passwords, cutting ties. Each click felt like untying another knot that had been strangling me for years. Nora saw the paper spread across the table. You're cleaning house, she said. More like evicting ghosts. That night I checked my credit report. 2 credit cards. My name. Balances I didn't recognize. My pulse spiked. I printed everything, slid it into a folder, and wrote one word on the front. Proof. When I told Nora and her husband, David, that my father had used my name, David said calmly, document it all. Every detail. For the first time, justice felt calm, measured. Like it belonged to me. Later, Bree texted again, why are you doing this? We're family. I typed back, don't ask again. Then added 5 more words. Don't ask a servant. The silence after that was the sweetest thing I'd ever heard. Days later, I laid out every page across Nora's dining table. Bills, screenshots, statements. Proof of a lifetime spent paying for people who called me a failure. Nora called a lawyer. The woman's office was small, smelled like old coffee. She looked at me and said, we can fix this. It wasn't revenge. It was repair. I filed reports. Froze credit. Contacted banks. Each form was a small act of freedom. Then came the photo sent to our old family group chat. My childhood room, drawers ripped open, mirror shattered. Mason's caption, cleaning day. Then Bree, should have taken your stuff. Nora took a photo of the screen. Don't delete a thing, she said. My cousin Noah drove by and saved what he could. My laptop, passport, old letters. I told him not to go back. That night, I called relatives who'd loaned money to my father for me. Each conversation peeled back another lie. My notebook became an autopsy of trust. Around midnight, I packed everything, screenshots, statements, Bree's texts, into an envelope. On the front I wrote, don't ask a servant. Then I drove to my parents' house, slid it into their mailbox, and left without knocking. It didn't feel like vengeance. It felt like closure. Days later, an email arrived from my father's boss. He'd seen the Facebook post before it vanished. Just wanted to check if you're okay. I didn't reply. The damage wasn't mine anymore. Then came the letter, no return address. My father's handwriting. You were always difficult. I took a small loan in your name. I planned to pay it off. Confession disguised as justification. I added it to the file. The lawyer called. It was identity theft, federal offense. For once, the facts didn't bend to his story. BY Spring. Claire had filed for divorce. Bree's credit was wrecked. Mason stopped defending anyone. Victor, he lost his job. The same pride that made him humiliate me cost him everything he valued. Control.my savings climbed. I rented a small apartment near the river. Quiet. Bright. Mine. People still ask what happened to my family. I tell them nothing happened. They just met the version of me that stopped apologizing. They once said I'd always be a servant. They were right about one thing, that I served lessons they'll never forget. If you've ever had to walk away from family to protect your peace, you're not alone. Tell me your story below. And don't forget to subscribe.